Going on a cruise is really exciting, but there are 7 mistakes you'll want to avoid before booking your first cruise. Hi y'all, welcome back. If you're new here, I'm Tiffany, and I have to say I have made all of these mistakes. So I want to go through all 7 of these mistakes to avoid so that you have smooth sailing. Mistake number 1 is overpacking / underpacking. Now, I would rather overpack than underpack, but I have done both. And if you overpack and take things that are not necessary, believe me, it can add a little extra stress when you're packing up at the end of your cruise, especially if you ended up buying some souvenirs and you're trying to play Tetris and figure out how all of that can go back in your suitcase. Now, underpacking, that is the mistake I really want to make sure I continue to avoid. You want to make sure that you are packing the things that you absolutely need for your cruise. So definitely research what you're going to be doing, research the cruise, the port, the itineraries, everything, because I've had at times where I needed closed-toed shoes for different activities I was wanting to do, and I didn't bring them. We even wanted to do a fancy dinner one night, and Mark didn't have the proper attire. So definitely make sure ahead of time that you know what you're wanting to do so you pack appropriately. Because believe me, the things that you forget to pack, they never have it in the stores on the cruise ship. Tip number 2 is not booking the right cabin. Now, I know we're thinking about budget and we want to make sure that we're booking an affordable cabin, but sometimes this is something that you really need to think about. For instance, if you're wanting a quiet place, you'll want to avoid booking a cabin around the nightclub, pools, or even the elevators. I booked one right next to the elevator once and whew, heard it all night long. If you are somebody who is a light sleeper, make sure you are avoiding these particular areas around the cruise ship. Also, some of the cheapest cruise cabins that you're going to find are going to be interior cabins, and they may not be right for you if you've never stayed in an interior cabin before, and if you are claustrophobic, this may not be the right option for you. You're not going to get as much room there as you would in a balcony room or even in a suite room as well. But you have to also think, do you want that extra light coming in the morning? Are you okay with a completely dark cabin? You may be okay with that. You may love it. But some people like that light coming in. Maybe a porthole room would be great for you. Or if you want that fresh air to just be able to have that oasis of going out onto your balcony and getting away from the crowds. So you need to think about what you're wanting as far as a cruise cabin. This is something that a lot of people don't think about and they overlook. And another one that is a big one, especially for me, because I have seasickness sometimes. So if you are prone to motion sickness, then you want to make sure that you are booking a cabin that is midship and lower. A lot of times you are not going to feel the movement of the ship as much in this. And a tip, make sure you're not booking a guaranteed cabin if you're wanting to choose the location of your cabin, because a guaranteed cabin is going to save you some money, but they will choose your cabin for you. And a lot of times you don't find out until you get there. So avoid booking a guaranteed cabin if you're wanting to choose your location of your cabin. Now, tip number 3 is ignoring the fine print of your cruise contract. This is very important. You need to know about cancellation policies, travel insurance requirements, payment plans, amenities included. All of these, you need to know what to expect when you are going on your cruise. And another great way to be able to avoid some of this and make sure that you are aware of everything is also to make sure that you're using a travel agent. They can also help you with any of these things as well. But if you don't use a travel agent, make sure you understand completely your cruise contract in case anything comes up. Number 4, I have mentioned this several times in other videos, and that is not considering the full cost of your cruise. So often when we are booking our cruises, and I have been guilty of this, when we are booking them, then you are looking on just what the cruise is going to cost you, the cruise fare. Now, I know a lot of us know about the gratuities. We can pay for them up front, or we can pay for them when we get on the ship. But we forget about all the extra costs as well that you have to look at as an overall cruise fee. And what I mean by this is onboard activities, specialty dining, port costs. If you're wanting to do anything at the port, shore excursions, you really need to think about all the costs that are going to come with booking this cruise. Plus also travel, getting to your cruise and from the cruise. If you want to know a little bit more about some of the extra costs that you can expect when booking your cruise, be sure to check out this video here or here. And I have a whole list of extras that you can check out that you need to be aware of. Now, number 5 is not booking shore excursions. You might be like, well, I don't want to book a shore excursion, and that's fine, but research and look up if you want a shore excursion. Look and see what there is to do, because let me tell you, booking a cruise and having those shore excursions can really open up so many things. When I was in Roatan, I got the opportunity to really indulge in the culture and meet people that are there on the island, and that I wouldn't have gotten to do if I stayed at Mahogany Bay. And another thing that to avoid when you are looking for shore excursions is only looking at the cruise line. I know this is controversial, and so many people only want to book through their cruise line, and that's fine. You can book through your cruise line, but if you look at third-party shore excursions, that can also help give you some ideas of some shore excursions that are available that are out there. Now, this is not always the key, but you can do this as a tip. If you're only wanting to book with your cruise line, look at a third-party shore excursion, see what's there. If you don't want to book with them, but you want that shore excursion, you can call your cruise line to see if that is something they offer. They might offer it on a different cruise, but that is something that you could do. And I have heard of others doing that because for some reason or another, they weren't offering that shore excursion on this particular itinerary, but they had it coming up later. So if that is something you want to do, definitely call your cruise line, ask if that is something they're going to offer at any point in time, or if they see that it's going to be on another itinerary that they're offering. But if you're wanting to book with a third-party shore excursion, Viator is a very reliable third-party shore excursion. TripAdvisor is as well. These are great companies that you can book with, and I only recommend booking third-party shore excursions if you have a long port day and you're not going too far away. If you're going just a few minutes away, or if you're right there at the port, you're gonna save some money. So that is another mistake that a lot of cruisers don't think about. You can save a lot of money. Check out my Amber Cove video, because there are some shore excursions that you can book right there in Amber Cove without having to book them with the cruise line, and it saves you money. They're charging way more on the cruise line than they would if you were booking them through a third party or at Amber Cove. So things like that, definitely keep things like that in mind. You don't need to worry about being late for the ship if you're there at the port, or if you're across the street or down the street from the port. So if you are right there by the port or at the port, I always recommend either seeing if you can book it at the port or go through a third party, because it is going to be cheaper and it's going to save you some money. Now, number 6 really kind of goes along with not booking a shore excursion, and that's not researching your port of call. Because if you research your port of call, you're going to know what to expect. You may have said in the previous tip that I gave, I don't want to do a shore excursion. I don't need to pay that extra money. I've already paid so much money for my cruise. I don't want to do a shore excursion. And that's fine. I've been there so many times. But you need to research your port of call so you know what to expect. I've been to Costa Maya, and let me tell you, even though it's a small little port, I missed a few things there. So you don't want to get to the port, walk around, and then you get back on the ship and somebody says, hey, did you go to this bar, or did you go over here to this little pool area over here? You're like, no, I didn't even know it existed. Research your port of call, look at everything, and that'll really help you to know what it is you're wanting to do when you get there, because you don't want to get back on the ship and go, oh, I really wanted to do that. So that is really going to help you to kind of know what you're wanting to do, map it out. Plus, it can also help you with your budget as well and know how much money you want to take. And number 7 has got to be one of the most important ones. It should really be up there at the top, but I want you to think about this one, and it is not booking at the right time. Now, some of us are not flexible with our times, and I totally get that. I have been like that for years with children, but you have to think about time of year. If you're not flexible with your timing and you can only go during the summer months with your children, then book those cruises during off-season time, during like the wave season, which is January to March. You'll get a little bit of cheaper pricing there. You can even find some cheaper prices in November and December when they're running all those deals. So if you're booking them, even if you're having to go during the prime time of the season, you can find some cheaper deals if you're booking in the wave season or when they're offering some specials around November and December in the holiday time. But you are going to see higher prices in the summer months and around the holidays. The times that you're going to see lower prices is called the shoulder season, and that's April and May, and September and October. Also, think about booking as far out in as advanced as you can, and I know this is contradictory, but if you can book it last minute, Then also sometimes you can find some great deals at last minute. Now, if you want a little bit more information on where you can go to find some affordable cruises, check out my video here. I have some great ideas, some websites that I like to use to kind of price compare and find some affordable cruises at different times of the year. Did I leave anything out? Please leave me a comment below. What is on your list when you are booking your cruise? I hope all of these were really helpful for you so that you have a smooth sailing. If they were, please give me a thumbs up. I greatly appreciate it. Thank you so much. Bye for now.